We are 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. We are body, mind, and spirit. We can harmonize these 3 aspects of our being by increasing our awareness of how and why they are connected. Mastering and harmonizing our body, mind, and spirit is the key to achieving total well-being. You will lighten up by purifying your body, liberating your mind, and igniting your creative spirit. As you master and harmonize your body, mind, and spirit, you will unleash your highest potential in every aspect of your life. You will start living your best life as your highest self. Are you ready to lighten up? Starring your host and narrator, Suzanne Ross, TV personality and producer, inspirational author of Wake Up and motivational Rise Up speaker. It's time to lighten up.
Hello and welcome to Lighten Up. I am your host, Suzanne Ross, and I am so delighted to be here today with Marco Missinato. He is coming to us from Crete, which is remarkable, and I would love to come to Crete someday, Marco. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Suzanne. Lovely to be with you and your wonderful audience, and looking forward to share whatever we need to share.
Marco is an inspirational composer of beautiful music, and he is also a photographer, and now he has an upcoming blog called Walking the Path that offers beautiful music, images, and words to inspire, enlighten, and empower you. I love how you start out your blog, Marco, with saying this blog is for the new humanity and the new earth. Can you tell us more about what has inspired you to create such inspirational music during your lifetime and offering such words of inspiration and empowerment?
Yeah, well, all the inspiration, in my experience, come from joy. It's just a core, deep, profound sense of joy that inspires me to take action to whatever direction is needed. And when you operate in that way, it's wonderful because your doing is very supportive for Earth and from humanity. So the blog, in the same fashion, started exactly like that. It started like the joy of feeling that I want to say something, you know? And so I just positioned my camera in front of me and I started to address certain topics that I felt I want to talk about it. And I didn't have any specific agenda. It was a pure, innocent, joyful way to express myself. And then when I started to listen back to the content, I felt that it could be very valuable for resonating people, for people that are in resonance with this kind of information and the way how I perceive things. And so I started to deepen my action into it. And now it's becoming a blog, an offering in the term of music, of photography, and video blogs and blogs. And still it hasn't, I don't even know what is going to happen next. It's just, I'm just having fun, basically. You know?
It's unfolding.
It's unfolding, exactly, like everything else.
I love your acronym, Journey of Imagination, which is J-O-I, joy. And I can see from the things that you've posted on that site that you are having this incredibly joyful experience of life, and through your camera lens and your music and your words, you just want to share it with others to inspire them.
Yes, it's, that's the core of existence, to come here in this physical experience and take action out of your joy and your imagination. And as you do that, then of course you want to share it because you love to share, you know, because you want other people to feel what you just felt in the orgasmic process of creativity. So you say, oh my God, that feels so good. I want everybody to feel like that. And so you start to expose your material. Yes, that's how it works.
That resonates with me so profoundly. A few years ago, I started to have this, you know, incredible spiritual awakening, and I would go on nature walks and feel as if I was actually shifting into a higher dimensional experience of reality. And, you know, these revelations would come to me about the true nature of reality. And it was so incredibly, like you said, orgasmic and joyful and profound that I just wanted to share it with everyone. I wanted everyone to have this experience of joy and revelation that I was having.
Yeah, and that's the kind of purity, innocence that is required at this time of our intense transformational period of what humanity is passing through right now, and our Mother Earth is passing through. We need to get into that innocence that we have lost thousands of years ago, or we have also lost during our childhood. And now we have to find it back if we wish to continue successfully this journey, because we need to basically tap into our female energy, which is more intuition, is more imaginative, is more like creative, and so that's what is required right now for all of us.
Can you speak to that a little bit more, Marco? I'm so fascinated by that concept that, you know, that we're elevating into this higher vibrational dimension of reality. Can you give us your perspective on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. In my perception, we are definitely passing through quite an intense transformational period, which will last for quite a long time, because we have to process layers and layers of thousands of separative deceptions. And all these deceptions, all these lies that we have been embracing, and from which we have created this artificially created reality, where this bubble where we are living, are now coming to surface, so that we can process them and let them go, and so diminish the feeling of separation. And this is an act that is in co-creation with Mother Earth. Mother Earth right now is rising the frequencies in order to correct some mistakes that have been done during the creation of this universe, physical 3D experience. It wasn't supposed to be so painful and so harsh, and to have a physical experience. The suffering got really out of hand, and so now we need to correct that and reestablish a balance and reestablish a more and less dramatic and less suffering experience. And that's why people like you, people like me, and many of the latest incarnations soul have heard the call of Mother Earth, and now we are co-creating in order to make things happen, so that all this matrix, many call it matrix, can collapse. And with this collapse, of course, there's going to be a lot of fear, because most of the people at this point, they're still unconscious, and they're completely identified with what the system tells us is the truth. And so now that the truth is collapsing, they will need support in order to find the true self within themselves. And it's going to be a lot of fear that needs to be processed, a lot of anger that is going to be needs to be processed, a lot of emotional blockages that needs to come out. And so people that like us, which are not necessarily better, we are just a little bit more aware, will be able to help and be of support.
Beautifully said, Marco. Yes, I do believe that there are, you know, a percentage of people on this planet who have simply been called to come during this time to facilitate the transition by supporting humanity with, you know, books and music, and like you're doing, combining images and music and words, and giving people a destination place where they can go to find that inspiration and enlightenment that they need to come through the transition more smoothly.
Exactly, and it's really easy to do that. You just tune in with your own unique gifts, and you take responsibility for them. You bring them to surface and you act through them. Because everybody, no exception, have special gifts. Everybody are extraordinary. There is no such a thing as ordinary person. There are people that momentarily are living an ordinary life because they are in a forgetfulness state. So they are still working on remembering who they are. And so for now, they are playing small. But it's a very important experience that needs to be allowed. So that we can start to tune in with our God and goddesses that are within ourselves, and we can start to exercise that.
Yes, it really feels like a period of preparation, you know, for this new higher experience of reality. And all of us are collectively engaged in this process of preparing. Some of us are just at different levels. And so it's just beautiful to know that within each and every one of us is that divine, pure essence of being. It's just a matter of, you know, what level we're at and how our experience is elevating, you know, maybe just in a different time period. But it's so beautiful that people like yourself are creating, you know, the music and the images and such to support all of that. And so, you know, bless you for doing that. I just love the blog that you're creating, Marco. I mean, I've been reading, you know, some of the things that you'll be talking about in it, and it was just so incredibly beautiful, and it really touched the core of my being. Can you share with our audience some of what you'll be sharing in your blog?
Yes, it seems like this blog is creating a map of informations that are going to be valuable for certain individuals. Most likely it's going to be a good blog for those people that are in the process of waking up. Maybe people that are lost and they cannot figure out things. They sense that the old paradigm is not livable anymore, but the new paradigm is not quite there, and so they are like in this between phase. And so maybe some of the information that I'm going to share, that I'm sharing in this blog, might be valuable for this kind of people. And also for people that are also more awakened, that are looking for a new way to see things, or they're actually looking for maybe co-creating, or looking for somebody to commune at that level. Because when you are a little bit higher, it gets lonely sometimes. You know? So, nobody's around, the family is unconscious, the husband or the wife is unconscious, and you are there, you're feeling something, but you don't know what to do, what to share with. And so you are scanning through the net or whatever, looking for a situation that really are in your frequencies.
Yes, so thank you for providing a place, a destination place for people who are awakening and people who are already awakened, because we really do need that community support.
Yes, of course, but I'm not obviously not the one. Thank God there are hundreds, maybe thousands of situations like that that are coming to surface right now. I'm just one of them, and it doesn't matter, because there's no such a thing as competition. It's just contribution and co-creativity. So we need to let go of this apprehension of, you know, all these messages that comes to us that again are based on the idea of scarcity. So because there is little, I have to be competitive. There is no such a thing as littleness. Everything is abundant, infinitely abundant. So right now, what is really matter is to ask the big question to ourselves: what is really relevant to my life? What is relevant to my fellow human beings? What is relevant to life? What gives me joy? How can what is the product of my choices supportive for life? These are the questions that we rarely ask ourselves because we are so caught up in the survival mechanism, which is an illusion, because there is nothing you have to survive from. Unless you believe so, then you create so. And so we have to shift out from that and start to take a higher level of responsibility and be in a higher level of integrity with our heart, with our core, with our solar plexus, where the truth is. Because we really do not need, everything is inside ourselves. There is a universe within ourselves. Our core knows everything. It has everything. We just have to trigger the process of remembering who we are. So whatever externalization comes to us is just a trigger. It's just a mirror from which we can see better what we are and what we are not. But we already are what we are seeking. We just have to find it within ourselves.
And the best way to do that, I would imagine, is to do what we can to raise our own frequency. And that goes back to listening to the beautiful music that, you know, you're presenting, and really enjoying and appreciating the beautiful images from nature, taking walks out in nature.
Absolutely.
I love the cover of your blog, Walking the Path, right? Because it's really spending that time out in nature and appreciating, you know, the other living beings and things on the planet and connecting with them to feel that oneness. And your sounds of oneness is so beautiful. I clicked on that and downloaded it, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, really, I think the goal is to discover that, or remember, you know, the divine essence of our own being, and, you know, focusing on raising our own vibrational frequency, really, so that we can participate in this higher experience of reality.
Yes. And music can be, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful tools to facilitate that. Because when music is created from a non-egoistical energy offer, so when it's pure, it's conceived from your source, it has the essence of life, and it has the ability to facilitate the unblockage of emotional stuff we have in our muscle that at this time needs to be released. And that is why I am creating and producing a series of live concerts with the intent to create an experience that allow people to let go of the stuck emotions, because that's the first thing that needs to be taking place. We need to, in order to establish a pure connection with our heart, we need to get rid of all these emotions that are within ourselves, whether it's sadness or anger or fear, those low frequencies emotions that have been collected through many, many years, sometimes many, many lifetimes, now needs to be released. They have been doing their purpose, they serve a good cause, but now it's time to let them go so that we can feel and connect with our heart, and then from there we can continue in a more organic way in communion with Mother Earth.
And it's so beautiful to think that, you know, it can be as simple and enjoyable as that, sitting and listening to this music and just really letting it resonate within your being, and knowing that that within itself can raise your frequency, and simply those lower frequency emotions will just dissolve. You know, rather than thinking of this complicated process of dealing with each of the issues that are causing these emotions.
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary, because you transcend all that therapeutic long work of whatever you call it, healing. Because music, we all come from music. We all come from sound. The entire existence is a huge symphonic orchestra that is playing. And we, because we've been so dissociated and so, let's say, manipulated, we are like out of tune with the orchestra. So we need to tune back our instrument in order to join the orchestra of life. And music can do that instantly, because music will immediately bring to surface whatever is out of tune. You will hear it and then you will let it go, and it can be done instantly if you allow it, of course, because you have to allow it first.
I love that feeling like you're just a little bit of out of tune. So you just need to be tuned up.
Yeah.
And you can do that by listening to symphonic music that really does resonate with that pure essence, that the universal sound, tune into the universal sound, which is, in perfect harmony with creation.
Absolutely. Exactly. It's really simple.
Yes, and can you expand a little bit on that concept of sound being such a important part of creation, essential part of who we are?
All the ancient sacred book talk about the fact that first was the sound. The sound is the first crystallization of matter, and then from there comes everything else. And so we are tapping into this information more and more, and I suspect that within the next 5 to 10 years we will know much more about these topics, but right now it's still processing. It's still more like a fantasy more than reality, but it's getting there. Scientists are realizing more and more the power, the incredible power of sounds, and I anticipate that soon we will have concert for healing all kind of diseases, for example. Not in a distant future. I believe that's is going to happen. In fact, it is part of my plan to eventually get to that point. For now, what is most important is to use music as a way to release the emotions, because that's the first step.
That is the first step, isn't it? It's emotions and the mental blockages and those limitations which really lead to the physical conditions that many people are experiencing. So I think that's a perfect first step, is let's, heal those emotions with higher vibrational sound healing, and, then automatically I think those physical conditions that are limiting us will dissipate. Yes, and Marco, you mentioned that you're going to be doing a series of live concerts. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I just produced a presentation of Sounds of Oneness. Sounds of Oneness is a 2-hour live concert of original music that I have created through the last 40-some years of my life, and now is mature and ready to be produced in a shape of live concerts. And in this presentation, I talk about the rules of music at this awakening time, and why music is important, and what music can do, and why music is most important and empowering when it's listened live from live musicians. And then from there I go into the way to produce the music, and so of course I'm attempting to raise some funds for the production, because it's quite a journey, because it involves quite an elite of musicians and orchestra and rehearsals, and then a lot of staging where lighting needs to be coordinated, sound has to be. So it's quite a wonderful adventure, and I've been visualizing and feeling this vision since I was a little child. Since I was 3 or 4 years old, I already knew that this is what I had to do. Of course, at that time I could not express the whole details like I can do now, but already there I knew that that was the direction and the purpose of my life. And so now we are getting closer and closer to the time where this concert will take place, and we hope to be able to do a tour everywhere in the world, and eventually be supportive as much as possible with the power of music.
It sounds so incredibly amazing to gather a group of musicians who are also, resonating with that higher purpose of bringing, music to humanity during this time of transition. And I love the idea of traveling around the world to be able to offer that, and I wish you the very best with that. It sounds like you're engaging in raising funds for that. Is there any way that our audience could participate in that?
Oh, absolutely. We are really open to any kind of support. It can be monetary support, but it can be also support in many other shape and form. Just holding the space for it, or maybe being a musician who wants to play the violin or wants to play the guitar or the drums at the event, or maybe somebody that is good on marketing, maybe someone that is good on finding investors that could jump on board. So, and they all can do communicate with well, I would say first listen to the presentation and see if it really touches your heart, and listen to the music and see if you feel a resonance, because if you don't, there is no point for us to go further. But if you spend those 10-15 minutes by listening to the presentation or listening to the music, and you feel a strong resonance and you want to be part of this, then you can contact us. I have an email, of course, it's info@journeyofimagination.com, and people can write us and share whatever insights they have, in whatever way they want to support, or even just say thank you, or just acknowledge us. We are open to communicate and to co-create, because now it's a time of co-creation. It's no more a time where you are separate and divided. Now it's time of integration, where resonating people start to co-create together so that things can crystallize really in the most empowering way.
And anybody who goes to your website, journeyofimagination.com, will truly enjoy that experience in itself. And Marco has been so generous to offer many things you can click on to appreciate and enjoy. So I encourage everybody to go to that website. His upcoming blog will be released in a couple of weeks, and maybe by the time this airs, it will already be out. And that in itself offers such inspiration and enlightenment. Bless you so much, Marco. I can truly tell what a beautiful soul you are. You're so beautifully expressed, and everything that you say really comes from your heart. I can tell you have such a sincere desire to support humanity right now.
Thanks.
And you've dedicated your life to it.
Yes, of course. And you are doing the same with what you're doing right now, right?
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for following your intuition and being open to say yes to this sharing. And I hope you and all your audience got something from it, and hopefully things will prove to be very supportive what we just shared.
Oh, absolutely. It's truly been my pleasure. And I also want to reach out and thank the audience for joining us. And remember, live well and love life. Thank you.